Good morning, students. Today we are going to understand computer networking with respect to web pages. Now, students, you have already learned how web pages are made and how these web pages are interrelated to each other. So, student, it is time now to understand the concept of how these web pages can be sent to the web servers so that the whole world can see your web pages. So we need to know many things about this given area and we'll understand them one by one. So we would now open the web page and understand how these network resources work for us. So students, I'm opening the web page having details in a PowerPoint presentation. And now we are understanding how the concept works for web pages. So let us start, students. Students, we all know that whenever we talk of internet, we are talking of World Wide Web. Now, what is World Wide Web? World Wide Web is nothing but a collection of interrelated documents on internet. These can be interrelated web pages, these can be something called protocols, these can be something called algorithms, but for our given case, we'll understand this World Wide Web as it is a collection of interrelated web pages. And students, this name World Wide Web was coined by Tim Berners-Lee. Now let us see. So what World Wide Web is? It is actually a collection of interrelated web pages. In short, it is known as WWW or W3, or it is commonly known as web. It contains interlinked hypertext documents in the form of web pages. Now students, we know what web pages is. We have already learned to create web pages and how it can be interlinked. We also know by using that hyperlink feature Ahref. So using Ahref, we can interlink them. Now we can view these web pages. We all know how to view. We can view these web pages with the help of web browsers. You know a lot of web browsers. We have Opera, we have Mozilla Firefox, we have Google Chrome, we have Safari. So there are many given web browsers in the market. We can use any one of them to view our web pages. And we also already have understood that these web pages contains different types of things, such as they can contain simple text, they can contain an image. We have already understood how to insert image. They can also contain videos or other multimedia documents like animations. So web pages contain a lot of things. It contains text, images, video, multimedia document, and therefore it is said to be containing hypertext. And we can go from one web page to another through the hyperlinking feature. We can traverse between these web pages. And what software is being required by us? We require web browser. So students, I think till now we have understood the things. Now students, suppose you have created a set of web pages and hyperlinked them, but these web pages are in your local computer. Now can anyone view these web pages through internet? Students, the answer is no. No one can visit this given website of yours because you have not uploaded it. Your websites have to be first uploaded on the internet. And where do we upload these websites? We upload these websites, that is the pages we have created in hyperlink, we upload them in a web server. So our web pages are stored on a web server. There are many web servers, students. Some examples are given here. Apache, Internet Information Server, they are the web servers. So whenever you want to create a web page or say a set of web pages, you would have hyperlinked them. You should not keep them in your own computer. It has to be uploaded on the web server. So students, web servers means they are some sites which support storage of your web pages. These sites are known as web hosting sites. So let us see, students, one by one these things. Now, what do we understand till now? We understand that in our World Wide Web, as I said, we have web pages, they are interrelated, we have web browsers, we have protocols, we have web servers, so many things are there. They all join together and all of them together is known as World Wide Web. It also has some devices like router. The hardwares also, they also are part of World Wide Web because they run through some algorithms, some rules. So they all make the World Wide Web. So students, we have understood our main focus would be web pages, web browsers, web servers and www. Will not take into consideration the devices. To some extent, we'll talk of protocols also in the coming days. Now students, let us see these terminologies again therefore. So we'll see some important terminologies. The first is web page. We all know it is an electronic page and it contains hypertext document. As I said, hypertext means not only text but with text, images, videos, then hyperlinking, animations, etc., etc. We know web browser is another important thing. Without web browser, we cannot see things through internet. We cannot view the pages of the internet. So web browser is a software which helps us to view websites. We can interface with the World Wide Web with the help of our web browser. It is stored in our computer and we can request the websites to be showed in our computer through the web browser. And we have something called web servers also. Now web servers is a computer or a storage on the internet which stores a lot of websites and their related files, and whenever it is required by some user, it serves those files to the user, it shows those websites to the users. Therefore it is known as server, web server. Examples I have already said: Apache, Internet Information Server. Now today students will understand how these websites actually work. We already have understood what is a web page. We have understood how to create and browse web pages. These were the topics which we have already done in our previous classes. But today's premier question is how websites work, how we upload things on the web server, and how others can see our websites through those web servers. So students, will go about it one by one. So for that, we should understand a concept, an architecture which is known as client-server architecture, students. Students, whenever suppose we try to surf internet, we try to find a website from the internet or see a website from the internet, we should understand we are a client for that given service. We are requesting for the website, so we are the client, and the web server which is actually responding to our request is the server. So this architecture is known as client server architecture. To be very specific, the person who is actually requesting is not only the client, the device through which he is requesting is the client also. Suppose I am using a tablet, or I am using a smartphone, or I am using a laptop, and through that I am trying to request a website, browse a website. So I myself with that device form the client, and the server which is containing that website, that is the server which is storing that website, will give me the display of that website. So the server is somewhere far away, and this whole technology is known as client server architecture. See students, as my computer is working as a client, the server would also be nothing but a set of computers or say storage devices like hard disks which are storing the data. So it is all hardware there in the server, and these two different given sets of hardware forms client server architecture. Ours is the client and the web server is the server. So some of the computers in the network have special dedicated task of providing services, that is showing us the websites. So these given computers which provide these services are called servers, and the computers which uses this service, here we are using the service, we are trying to surf the internet or surf a given website of the internet. So we are requesting for that website from the server. So we are the clients here, or our devices are the clients here. This is all known as client server architecture. Now students, how websites works then? So it works using a classical client server architecture. Here the server is requested by us and the server responses back by allowing us to see the websites we have requested. So client is running in our machine and it is running through a web browser, whereas the server is using a web server technology. So server is in the web server software part. We have already seen the example, IIS, Apache, etc. Now students, let us see and understand one thing, that suppose you have made the given web pages, you have hyperlinked them. Now when you want to actually go and upload these web pages on the internet, you should have an internet connectivity. So there are different types of internet connectivity available. You can avail any one out of them. So let us see these types of internet connectivity and who provides this internet connectivity to us. The internet service provider provides this given internet connectivity to us. You know, internet service providers like Airtel, you take data pack from them, the Jio. So they are all internet service providers. They provide internet services to us and we need them whenever we want to surf internet, use internet for a given purpose. And similarly, when we want to upload a website also on a web server, we should have that internet connection. So what are the different types of internet connectivity we have in our given catalog? See, there are two types of internet connectivity and we can choose one out of them, wired and wireless. Now what do we mean by wired? Wired means it is through given cables. So we can use hardwired or dial-up. Now dial-up is something which had been used by us 15-20 years ago. It required a telephone line and it used to send the signals of internet through analog given medium. That is, it used analog signals and we needed something called modem so that our digital computer could convert those signals into analog and then send. This technology is now out of date, students. Nowadays, we have something called digital subscriber line or cable internet access. Now, digital subscriber line is something where data is thoroughly sent digitally. No analog conversion is required. And cable internet access, I think you all know, students, the cable service provider can give us a facility through which we can use internet through that cable service provider and we can use them in our smart TV. So this is another given service which you can avail. And when it comes to wireless, our smartphones use wireless services. We have 2G, 3G, 4G, Wi-Fi also we have, and there is something called WiMAX which use microwave connectivity, microwave signals where wires cannot move and places which are far away. They can construct towers at a distance of 30 kilometers and use them to connect to internet. So these are the services that internet service providers provide us. You can avail any one of them to upload your web page. Now let us go to uploading our web page part. So students, we will try to understand how uploading of a website is done, or how things should be understood for uploading a website. So few points that should be understood by us. See students, whenever we want to upload a website, we have to open a web hosting site. You have heard some of them. There are sites like GoDaddy.com. So these are the sites which will help you to host your web page. They will host your web page. They may take rent from you for that. So you'll have to register your name, your details to that given website, the web hosting site. You'll have to register your details, your credentials there. And while registering your website, you'll have to give a unique name to your website. Suppose you have created something related to, say, Taj Mahal. So you'll have to give a unique name, say Taj. So the whole website can be www.taj.com if you have made a commercial site. If you have made an educational site, it can be www.taj.edu for education. So here we see, we have the discretion, we have the capability to decide the name from our own, and that name is known as the domain name. So let us proceed, students. So we'll have to give a unique name, and we have already understood whenever you upload the website, it is stored in the web hosting company's server, that is web server. It is actually stored there. The web server company actually allots a space for you there, and they don't allow it to you always free. They take some rent for it from you. You'll have to pay some money so that it can be there. Now, as I said, these companies are known as web hosting companies. They allot the space, take rent from you. They also maintain your websites. Now, as I said, every website, whenever you upload it, a unique name is given. For example, if CBSE had gone and uploaded the website, so CBSE would have given a unique name, say CBSE, and the total name, the generic name which was given by the web server was www.cbse.nic.in. Students, here www is something which is always there with all websites addresses, and with that, if you are actually seeing CBSE, the CBSE has been decided by the CBSE itself. It has been decided by CBSE. CBSE has the discretion, the ability, the capability of deciding this part of the web address. But when it comes to nic and in, that is when I said www.cbse.nic.in, here nic and in is not decided by CBSE, it is decided by the web server itself. So few part of the web address is decided by you, and some of the parts are decided by the company where you are actually uploading your website, that is the web hosting company. So every website has a unique name, that is domain, which you can decide yourselves, here CBSE. However, some other names like nic and in, they are known as subdomain. The nic is subdomain and in is top level domain. We'll talk of it afterwards also. They cannot be decided by you. They are decided by the web servers, and therefore they cannot be unique. But overall, when you see the whole generic name, it actually stands unique. So www.cbse.nic.in is a unique web address, but here www is always there with every address, so it is not unique. Nic can be with many addresses, in can be with many addresses, so they are not unique. So top level domain, sub level domain, they are not unique. But domain, that is here www.cbse.nic.in, in this only CBSE part is unique, which you have decided. So we will now talk of this domain name system. As I said, name of any website is defined according to a system called domain name system. So this is a naming system. Here wherever I said www.cbse.nic.in, it is due to a system called domain name system. Web server has to follow this system of domain name system. It has to give a web address using letter addressing system, that is domain name system, to the person who is uploading that website. And then this person would publicize this given address to his knowns, that is to all of the person whom he wants to see his website. And they can write this address on the address box of their web browser and see the website. So we have a domain name system through which every web server has to give an address to the website which is being uploaded there in their given storage. And in this domain name system, every website would contain a unique name containing domain, subdomain and top level domain. Already I said in www.cbse.nic.in, CBSE is the domain, nic is the subdomain and in is the top level domain. Now, as I said, any website's address starts with www. Name of the website ends with top level domain. So www is the start, and in that given web address .cbse.nic.in, in is the top level. So the website address ends with the top level domain. What does that top level domain specify? It specifies the type of the organization or the purpose of the website, or maybe the country of the website. Here in means India, the country of the website. The creator of the website has only the discretion to decide the domain, name of the domain. He cannot decide the name of the subdomain and top level domain. We have talked of it already. So some top level domains which were there earlier were .com, and they already also exist nowadays also. They are .com, .org, .mil, .gov, .edu, .net, and we'll see them now, students. It is time to see them, these top level domains. So what are the examples of these top level domains? As I said, .com, what does it mean? This top level domain means that it is a commercial site. So .com means commercial website. .org means organizational website. .mil means military website. .gov means governmental website. .edu means educational website, and .net means network website. Now what is network website? The websites which looks after the networking devices. It talks of all those devices like routers and all. Now, some of the web addresses contain both top level domain and subdomain. Let us see. You would have seen some websites which contains only top level domain. As I have shown you earlier also, they contain top level domain. Here also these are top level domains. But here these domains .in, .au are actually showing the country. So .in is Indian website, .au is say Australian website, .uk would be United Kingdom, and in this way every country has its own given top level domain. Now, a domain name, a generic domain naming system can have subdomains as well as top level domain. Like, as I said, nic.in CBSE part. Similarly, say amazon.www.amazon.co.in. So here co is the subdomain. Co means company, and in is the top level domain. It shows the country. It is the country code. Now here maybe there is something called IGNOU, www.ignou.ac.in. Students, it is the website of Indira Gandhi National Open University. So here AC means academic and .in means India. AC is the subdomain and the top level domain is India. So a given web address can have two given parts also of its domain, that is subdomain and top level domain in its naming system. And it is actually what? Subdomain here, as we saw, it is AC, and top level domain is IN. So we have understood, students, what subdomain is. Let us understand it further. So we'll see. For example, this is the website of Delhi University. So www.du.ac.in. So what do you think? www is the World Wide Web part, DU is the domain name, AC is the subdomain name, and IN is the top level name. that is the top level domain. So I have bifurcated it. www, then du is the domain, subdomain is AC, and top level domain here is in. So students, this is how the whole domain name system stands. Now students, with domain name system, we have a system called number system, that is number addressing system. You would have heard the word IP address. Now each website, each web page has a unique IP address, and this address actually contains of 4 numbers separated by 3 dots. We'll see that, students, this number addressing system. So each web page of each website has a unique number address. It is known as its IP address, and this is a combination of 4 numbers separated by 3 dots. Now example here is 164.100.107.63. You can even give this in the address bar and the website will open. But it is very hard to remember such numbers. Therefore, the domain name system were actually devised, because if we have to remember numbers for each and every website, and when the world contains crores and crores of websites, it would be very hard to remember these numbers. So with number addressing system, we do have the domain name system, which is also known as letter addressing system, where alphabets are used. As in the case of CBSE, we use www.cbse.nic.in. It is easier to learn www.cbse.nic.in than to talk of 164.100.107.32. So which part is easier? The letter addressing system is easier to understand. So letter addressing system should be preferred, and we therefore prefer letter addressing system, that is domain name system. So as such address is very hard to remember, we generally use domain name system. But be it a letter address or be it a number address, each address of a web page is known as its URL, that is Uniform Resource Locator, because it locates to that given particular web page, students. So you now understand what URL is. In your higher classes you will learn that this URL also contains 2 types. One is absolute URL and one is relative URL, but we will not talk of them because it is not in our course here at class 8. So this is all, students, and I think you have understood how things work in websites, how they can be uploaded, what are the types of web addresses, what are the parts of the web addresses in number addressing system. All these things, students, you would have understood. In the next class, we'll talk of something called protocols. So students, thank you very much and have a very nice day.